Hello, my name is Vonda Chalfant. I'm a member of Greenwood Park with my husband Mike and my daughter Hannah. I serve there as the director of our early education program, which is a preschool for 3 and 4-year-olds, and I am a 4-year-old classroom teacher. So that being said, I'm a little out of my comfort zone today. I usually am speaking to an audience of 4-year-olds, so bear with me. But I would like to share with you a book that I read to my students. I've been reading to them over Facebook Live during this quarantine time, and we always begin with a Bible story. And this one came at just the right time for me. It was something that I think God planned just for me to hear. I needed it that day. And maybe it's something that you need to hear as well. So I'm going to read the book to you just as if I were reading it to my 4-year-olds. And this story comes from the book of Matthew, which is one of the Gospels. And I always tell the children that gospel means good news. Those are the stories of Jesus, and there's no better news than Jesus. So this book is called A Walk on the Waves, from Matthew 14, verses 22 through 32. The disciples rode Jesus in a boat. Jesus wanted to rest. The boat came to a quiet place. Thousands of people came to see Jesus. The people wanted to learn, and Jesus told them, God loves you. Some people were sick, and Jesus made them well. The people were hungry, and Jesus gave them bread and fish. The people began to get tired. It was getting late. You go ahead, Jesus told his disciples. There are still many people. I will say goodbye to them. Go get in the boat and go to the other side of the lake. So Peter and the other disciples climbed into the boat, and they began to row. Goodbye, Jesus said to the people. God loves you. Thousands and thousands of people started home. Soon it was quiet. Night was coming, and Jesus was alone. Jesus walked up a hill because he wanted to pray. The disciples rowed the boat to the middle of the lake. A strong wind blew over the lake, and waves rocked the boat. The disciples rowed harder, but the wind blew harder, and the waves jumped higher, and the disciples rowed harder. Jesus saw the disciples, and he saw them rowing harder and harder, and he heard the wind blow, and he saw the waves jumping higher and higher. Jesus walked to the disciples. He walked to the boat on the water. The disciples rowed harder, the wind blew, the waves jumped, and suddenly the disciples saw Jesus. They saw him walking on the water toward the boat, but they didn't know who he was. It's a ghost, they screamed. It's a ghost. No, said Jesus, it is I. Don't be afraid. Jesus, Jesus, Peter asked, is it really you? Let me come to you. Let me walk on the water. Come, Peter, said Jesus, come to me over the water. Peter got out of the boat, and he started walking on the water, and the disciples watched. Then Peter heard the wind blow, and Peter saw the waves jumping higher, and suddenly he was afraid, and he began to sink. Jesus, said Peter, help me, save me. Jesus grabbed Peter's hand. Oh, Peter, said Jesus, you know I will help you. Jesus and Peter climbed in the boat, and the wind stopped, and the waves were quiet. And the disciples looked at Jesus, and they said, you are the Son of God. This story came to me at a time when I was feeling afraid. I was feeling like I was sinking, and it wasn't waves that were crashing over me, but it was words like coronavirus and COVID and flattening the curve and social distancing, words that had become a part of my everyday vocabulary, and I was hearing them from every direction on social media and on every news channel. And it was beginning to consume me, and my anxiety was growing. I was being ugly with my family. I, at one point, had to apologize to Hannah for saying something I shouldn't have said, and I asked her to please forgive me that apparently I don't pandemic very well. And I think this story came at a time when I needed to be reminded that I needed to shift my focus. I needed more good news and less world news. I needed to put my eyes back on Jesus. I needed to focus on him and to not doubt. I needed to know that God is in control and to not let doubt enter and fear. And I know that my faith has grown during this time, that during these past few weeks, my faith is definitely getting bigger than my fear, and I'm thankful for that. Thankful for this reminder from a book that's obviously written for children, but it really spoke to me that morning. And I hope it's been a blessing to you as well. I hope that it's been an encouragement to you. And I sure miss you all, and just look forward to the time when we can all be together again.